AI data centers are getting a lot of backlash across the country, and most recently in Spartanburg County, where public outcry derailed one of the biggest projects yet. I'm 7 News consumer anchor Diane Lee, breaking down fact from fiction on the potential impact of next-generation data centers.
We say no!
It's no wonder data centers have a bad rap. The first generation of mostly unregulated AI computing facilities have been criticized for straining the electric power grid, using too much water and creating air pollution from diesel generators.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you for allowing us to vote no on Sparrow.
But even as lawmakers in Spartanburg County gave in to public demand, calling for a no vote on tax incentives for a data center proposal called Project Sparrow at the Tiger River North Industrial Park, lawmakers like State Representative Travis Moore hit home how the issue of data centers is not going away.
We need to find a way, a sustainable way, to have our information for our military, for our government, for our citizens here in the United States and not elsewhere.
Still, lawmakers have their work cut out to educate the public on how the newest generation of data centers are addressing the errors of the recent past. State Senator Josh Kimbrell has co-authored one of 2 bills in the Senate. They would create oversight through the Department of Environmental Services and ensure any data center in the state would not raise utility rates, result in rolling brownouts, or overtax the water supply. Still, Kimbrell says Project Sparrow would have honored that. What do you really think the public needs to know here?
Well, I think they need to know that a lot of the concerns that are being voiced on social media, on Facebook, other places about skyrocketing power rates or water unavailability or a huge tax on infrastructure is just not realistic. Those boxes have been checked with the energy companies.
We feel like there's been secrecy around this.
Eric Allison finds those claims from lawmakers hard to believe, at least when it comes to Project Sparrow. His Facebook page calling for no data centers in Spartanburg County helped fuel the mounting movement against the proposed facility and more. And he's also calling for a moratorium on a data center already under construction at the old Kohler plant on South Pine Street and one at 300 Jones Road.
Residents feel like our elected leaders do not have the information they need to push this forward on us.
What's your biggest concern with data centers?
It's multifaceted, the biggest concern. So we have the energy concern. How is that going to affect our energy rates and how is it going to affect our energy grid?
To find out, 7 News sat down with Brian Stone, president of Lockhart Power, which would have provided the initial electricity for Project Sparrow. What's the misinformation that you're hearing that you want to make sure people understand?
I think it's just the general comment about related to power, about the cost being shifted onto other customers and that there's not enough power.
So let me ask you, for Project Sparrow, would costs have been shifted on to customers, rising rates, and would there have been enough power?
Yes, there would have been enough power and no cost would not have been shifted onto our other customers. There's an existing amount of power to serve the initial 50 megawatt portion that we would serve of the initial 100 megawatts. And the costs associated with serving that load would be paid for entirely by the company, in addition to a margin they would pay that would go back to help the rest of our customers.
In other words, Stone says Tiger DC, the company behind Project Sparrow, would have had to pay a surplus, which he says could have helped prevent rates from rising, not vice versa. In a statement, Tiger DC also maintained it would preemptively follow all state guidelines, including reducing water usage through a closed-loop cooling system and generating its own power by tapping into the existing natural gas pipeline on site, a concept championed by President Trump in his State of the Union address.
We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs.
Speaking of the federal government, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission did in fact reject Duke's initial transmission agreement to provide 200 megawatts to Lockhart for a possible future phase. But it's important to note Duke was discussing possible changes to satisfy regulators. Still, power and environmental concerns weren't the only issue with Project Sparrow. A major concern for business leaders like Chris Callahan with Johnson Development Associates that built the AC Hotel in Spartanburg was what he calls a failure to properly vet the company and disclose the true scope of the project.
We are publicly opposed for a number of reasons, but I think at the core of it generally is a lack of transparency on what the project is. When we look at Project Sparrow, we see it as potentially one of the largest data centers ever proposed in the United States.
For instance, Tiger DC's website had mentioned a goal of 400 megawatts, but in this interview on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, the head of the company, Jerry Tang, cited nearly 5 times that much.
But ultimately, you're going for 2 gigawatts of capacity? Is that what you said?
That would be the ultimate goal, yes.
2 gigawatts is hard to comprehend. It is the equivalent power generation for 1.5 to 2 million homes, which is pretty close to the residential capacity of the state of South Carolina.
And unlike the Northmark Strategy data center going up on South Pine Street, which has a defined end user, mainly itself, Tiger DC's space on more than 800 acres would have been rented out to unknown clients, which adds to the uncertainty for those in opposition. Still, the $3 billion project could have generated $5 million annually for 40 years in tax revenue. And while data centers don't create many new jobs, supporters say they also don't strain the roads. Spartanburg County Council Chair Manning Lynch maintains the revenue could have kept property tax rates down.
I think it's a loss for the county, but I think that we will learn from this. Data centers aren't going away.
Still, Allison hopes if there is a next time, the council will divulge the details earlier in the process. How do you feel now that it's a no vote?
Fantastic. The people of Spartanburg really spoke up. They came together on a common goal.
Now, we should note large utilities like Duke, which supplies Lockhart with power, maintain a reserve margin of 15 to 20%. So they aren't at risk of running out of power even when they ask customers to conserve during peak times.